In this video, I'm going to show you how to create your field experience portfolio. In the past, we had students give us a a resume in a Word document or PDF, and their philosophy of ed and a cover letter, all these individual documents, and that's what we sent to the school districts as the introduction to the student. But now we think it's a good idea just to put all of those documents into one portfolio, and then all we have to do is send a link to the school district. So that's the purpose of the field experience portfolio. It is going to be your professional introduction to the school district where you wish to student teach. So it's very important. Needs to be professional. Needs to have a nice appearance. So let's take a look at that. When you first start, you're on the dashboard screen, and here's your portfolios tab, and here are all my portfolios. But to create a new one, we need to go where they're actually located, under Work and My Coursework. Now you can see I've created several, so we encourage you to create as many as you want. You might want to create one to use in a job search, so you can absolutely do that. So just click New Portfolio. My suggestion is to call it Field Experience Portfolio. You don't need to include your name because your name will be in headings and everything on the in the portfolio itself. But you could call it Professional Portfolio. You can put your name in it if you want. It's completely up to you what you call it. And then just choose the customizable TOC and create. Now you start with a blank slate here. All we have is a home page. So to build your pages, you're going to click the edit mode, choose home, and now say add. And the first page we want you to create is your introduction page. So I'm going to call this my personal journey, but you could call it my introduction, about me, whatever it is that you want to call it is fine. That's your first page. The second page needs to be your philosophy. So I'm just going to say my philosophy of education. You don't need to include the word my in there, but you can if you want. But again, call that whatever you want, but this is the page for your philosophy. The next page, this is required before you submit your application for student teaching. So in your final portfolio, we want to have this letter to the school district. Whoops. School district. Now, in the entry workshop, when you're first creating your portfolio, this is not required. But before you apply for student teaching, you will need to add in this page. And the last page we require is your resume. Oh, and I better put my resume. Okay, so these are the 4 required pages. Now you can continue to add pages if you want. That's completely up to you. You can add sub-pages in between. So if I choose my journey and say add, you can add, contact information or whatever it is that you want to add. You can have pages and pages within those. Just be careful not to make it too lengthy and too complex. You want it to be very simple and straightforward. So when you're done, just say done editing. Okay, the other thing that we're requiring is go to the setup and you need to choose a background theme. Now, when you're doing your own professional portfolio that you're going to use in your job search, then definitely use a different theme, something that's colorful and fun, that fits your personality. But for the field experience portfolio, we want them all to have the Graceland University theme. And just save that when you're done. Also, this is where you can change the name of your portfolio. This is going to appear on every page. So if you decide you want something different, you can always change it here. Save and close. Okay, so now you can see the theme is chosen. The other thing to do when you create a new portfolio is to start watching it on your dashboard by clicking the star. That'll make it easier to get to. So let's go back to my dashboard and let's look and see at a portfolio that I have already been playing with. So you can see I just have 2 pages so far, and we can see the table of contents on the left, and you have a preview button up here on the right. So click preview. Now this is what it's going to appear like when someone else looks at your portfolio. This is what the school district is going to see. This is the Graceland template. You can see the name of your portfolio shows up here. Home automatically appears. There's nothing you can do to change that. That will always be there. Any website always has a home page, so that's appropriate. I've added my name, my major, my endorsement or concentrations. A photo of yourself is acceptable, but be careful with that. It needs to look, professional and modest. We don't need to see photos of your family, your pets, and all that. This is a professional portfolio, so keep it professional. I've added a quote, which makes it a little more interesting, but again, that's another option for you. On my personal journey page, you can see, very simple. It doesn't need to be lengthy, 1 or 2 paragraphs at the most. Don't go into a great deal of detail. And then on my philosophy, again, very simple, easy to read. I've done some little tricky things with text to kind of make it more interesting. I've added a heading to the page. You can see that this theme doesn't show a heading. Even though it says philosophy of ed here, you need to put in a heading to actually see a heading on the page. So that's how you preview, and that's what it looks like. So let's go ahead and add a resume page. So I'm going to click home again and add, and here's my resume. And now we're done editing. So for sure, everything you put on the page should be in a text block. Don't just attach your resume as a link, as an attachment. That's just one more click for the school administrator to look through. What if they don't have the right software installed to see it, or they have trouble opening it? It's just better appearance, more professional if you spell it out for them on the page. Now you can take a Word document. I have this Word document here. This is actually the resume template that we gave you as an option. But there are hundreds of templates out there, so feel free to use whatever you want. Now, I just selected the text and copied it, and now I can come in here, and right-clicking will not allow you to use the paste option. But if you do Control-V on a PC computer, then you can just paste it right in. Now, it keeps its formatting pretty well, but you might need to adjust that, and you can go in and build that. Also, under View, you can say Full Screen, and that gives you more space here to play with it and work with it. I could change the text color if I wanted. That's the same color I'd used before. I can go into font sizes and make that huge. If I want, I got different fonts to choose from that you can do that. You've got all your same text options. You can add a bulleted list and, other things. Also, one option you have is to insert a horizontal line. And so we don't have a, let's just say my resume. And now if I click to the left of that and insert horizontal line, then immediately above you see a horizontal line. And if I just put my cursor at the right end of it and say insert horizontal line, then you can see I've got a title. And since I'm making that a color, I think I'll make my name back in black. Okay, so once you're viewing at full screen, you don't have access to the save button anymore. So you need to go back and deselect the full screen. So now you can save and close. And now here's your resume. Now you can see that needs a little work. Spacing isn't great, but you can play with that. Another thing, let's go back. You can return to your table of contents here or here. Let's look at my home page. Now you can see that I've added two elements. One includes a heading, this text, the photograph, all in one element. And then I've got a second element with a quote. So you've got this drag button. You can actually just drag elements around. So that's helpful. Or you can just create one element and put everything in the same. So to edit that, I'm just going to go in here to edit. And again, let's view that full screen so we can see it easier. And you can see I've just added a table. This is a table with one column and 3 rows. So in the first row, I put my heading, my name, and then I put my major and concentration, and then I added the photograph to myself. To add a photograph, you just come to Library Image. So let's take that out. And I'm going to go to Library Image, and you need to, here it gives you your image gallery, and I'm going to show all, and it's going to limit, oh there it is, and just add selected, and then done, and there it is. So that's how you want to add photographs within Chalk and Wire. Don't add them as a file attachment. Start a text block first and then add from the library image. Once you've added a photograph, you can edit that. You can change the size of it here if it's too big or too small. So that's basically how you can get text on the page. Your table options are here. Here's where you can edit a table or create the table and add rows and do all the stuff before. Okay, so let's view the full screen off, and now I can save and then close. And then let's go back to our table of contents. So if I wanted to add my cover page in here, again, I could just go into the edit mode, say add. Oh, got to choose home first. Now say add. And I'm going to say letter to school district. And this needs to be, when you type your cover letter, this needs to be generic. So the school district, so the field office can send it to your first district. If that doesn't work out, they'll send it to your second, and so on. So it needs to be generic. But now I really want my letter to be above the resume. So I can just click here and drag, and I can rearrange my pages. But this is what we would prefer. We want your introduction first, then your philosophy, then the letter, then your resume. So done editing, and you're done with that. Now to share it, you need to be where you can see your table of contents, and then you're going to click share this page, and you're going to generate a URL, which is a web address, which you can see here that it created. Now if I click and drag, you can see it goes farther than what you can actually see. All addresses will end with the number 48, so be sure you select the whole thing. Now on my PC, I can right click and say copy. On a Mac, you can left click and use the control button and left click and say copy. If on a computer or your iPad you have an email client, an email program installed, then you could just click send email, and it would automatically create a new email message with that that web address pasted into the message. I just encourage you to copy and save this somewhere. Put it in a Word document, send it as an email to yourself. Somehow just keep the URL for safekeeping. And then when you're ready to apply for student teaching, you'll just copy and paste that web address into the online application. And this is the exact link that this field office will use. They'll send this to the school district. So that's basically how you share. You also want to be sure and share the entire portfolio. That is the default, so you shouldn't have to change that. So that's basically how you create your field experience portfolio and share it when it's time to submit your student teaching application.